Handguns for beginners. First, you need to establish a purpose for your firearm. The caliber of your handgun will depend on your purpose. For an example, you don't need a 50 AE Desert Eagle as a home defense gun, and odds are you probably don't want to use a 22 long rifle for home defense. However you look at it, when you select a caliber, you need to consider your abilities to control the recoil, which will be vital for you to safely send follow-up shots only to incapacitate or immobilize your threat. Additionally, you need to consider the ease of purchasing additional ammo. Please, for the love of God, do not select a round or caliber that is difficult and inexpensive to find. Additionally, you're going to want to ensure that your fire controls, such as your magazine release, okay? You want to make sure that your magazine release is accessible by your dominant hand, okay? More importantly, you're going to want to ensure that your slide release is accessible by your dominant hand by primarily use of your thumb, okay? However, you also too want to consider your length of pull for your trigger finger is able to fully reach your trigger, okay? You don't want to have short fingers and have your trigger way up forward to the point that you can't fully set your finger on the trigger, and vice versa. You don't want to have a small frame handgun to the point that you have gargantuous hands and you pretty much just hide the entire firearm. You want it to fit and feel comfortable, okay? The thing is comfortable. You've got to feel comfortable. Without you feeling comfortable, it's not going to work. All right, next up, my recommendation. I started out with a Taurus PT Pro 24/7 chambered in 45. Long story made short, I don't have it anymore. However, I did purchase another firearm, as you can obviously tell, and I chose a Glock 19 for several reasons. One, I wanted something in 9mm simply because having that 45 ammo was a little bit more pricier than what I was willing to spend, and it just made things much more easier whenever I went to local stores, because everybody always generally has 9mm in stock. Not saying that they don't have 45 in stock, because they do, but also too, considering price, 9mm is relatively cheaper. Also too, it's easier to conceal. With this 9mm, as you can tell, no magazine is inserted, okay? See daylight through, no rounds in the chamber, okay? With this right here, this is my EDC. I carry this everywhere I go. If I'm going up the street to the gas station, if I'm going grocery shopping, if I'm out at a family event, whatever, this is my go-to, set up just the way that it is. Additionally, I went with a Glock because they're easy to disassemble. And as I previously mentioned with my Taurus PT Pro 24/7, when you went to disassemble it, some firearms have this, not all, especially handguns. Um, some handguns will have like a little lever right here that faces down. You would have to slide lock to the rear just as it is, press that lever forward, and then you would be able to send the slide forward as it is now. Then you would pull the trigger and then the slide would come off. However, on Glocks, it doesn't have that one little lever that I was talking about, which was on my Taurus. You needed to pull that out. If you lost that, good luck at being able to reassemble your firearm and use it. And with it being a Taurus, I'm not trying to bash Taurus. I still like Tauruses. I just don't have any. But what I'm trying to say about that is if you were to lose that one little piece, good luck at putting your firearm back together, because that one piece is needed. The thing is, with Glocks, you really don't have anything small like that. Of course, once you do pull these knobs down and disassemble your firearm, you'll have your spring rod, your barrel, And if you want to go into real depth detail once you fully assemble it, your trigger group, your ejector, and all that other good stuff in this lower, in the frame itself, you'll have all that. But if you're going to do a field strip, I don't necessarily like that one piece that some manufacturers use that you actually do have to pull out. Because like I said, if you lose it, it's not going to be a good day, because then you're going to have to wait in order for that other piece to come in once you order it from the manufacturer. There we go, like that. Your standard round count is 15 on a Glock 19. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that. We can get it to focus. But anyways, standard round count on a Glock 19 is 15 rounds. However, as I was mentioning before, with your grip length, say for example, this grip length is a little too short for your personal fit and feel, but you like everything else about the Glock 19, what it has to offer. If you take it out to the range and you try before you buy and you shoot it and you realize, hey, I like it, but what I don't like is this grip length. Look into trying to get some of these, I don't even know what the name brand of these are. I bought them at the local gun store. Some of y'all might be able to see what those are. But anyways, bought them at the local gun store. They are a aluminum housing. It does come with the additional spring for you to put the new magazine spring in, because it will require that. But it holds an additional 5 rounds, okay? But the main purpose of that, not just to have extra rounds, I'm not saying I'm Rambo or anything, but the main thing about that is by having this extra aluminum piece, which does house extra 5 rounds, it does allow you to get proper, better grip on it. So that way your support hand can marry up with your dominant hand and have a home where it can set on. Concealed carry, please don't be that guy to just gangster it by putting it in your pants without a holster. By doing so, once again, firearm is clear. Okay, no magazine is inserted. Let's just, like I said, pretend that it is loaded with a round in the chamber. You put it inside your pants, and then something happens to the point where you do need to pull out your firearm, unfortunately, to defend yourself and incapacitate or immobilize the threat. If something does get on that trigger to the point that it wants to go off, it will go off. Even before you can properly align your sights and engage into the threat, the last thing you want to do is have an accidental discharge, or even worse, a negligent discharge. With today's table talk regarding handguns for beginners, you want to have a purpose. Like I said, you want to have a purpose for each one of your firearms. As I mentioned, yes, this is my EDC, but it is also too my primary home defense handgun. I do have other firearms that I would use for home defense, but primarily for EDC, this firearm serves that purpose for me, and it has for about 2.5, 3 years now, set up in this same configuration. The only difference that I have changed about my EDC is this will be the primary magazine inserted into the firearm, so that way I can easily conceal it, because I'm pretty sure that if you marry and compare the sizes for this is a factory Glock 19 mag, okay, and this is one as well. However, as you see, the base plate right here, that base plate gives it a little bit more length. This will always be in one of my additional pockets on my pants, while my standard non-modified Glock 19 15 round magazine will be inserted into my firearm, which would be housed in my holster in the appendix carry position. Okay. My purpose for this firearm, as I mentioned, is my EDC. Like I said also too, you've got to consider your fit and feel. If it's not comfortable in your hands, if it's not comfortable in your holster, if it's not comfortable overall, the odds of you carrying it to defend yourself are very slim to none, and it's going to be a safe queen or it's going to be a bedside princess. In conclusion to today's table talk, I would like to go over 4 firearm safety rules for beginners. When I was in the military, we had these things called ditties, which allowed us to remember certain things or phrases that were relevant to a particular subject that we needed to know at that time. However, this ditty that I'm about to go over now is treat, never, keep, keep. 1, treat every weapon as if it was loaded. Essentially meaning do not handle a firearm in a manner that is unsafe. Treat it as if it was loaded. Respect it. Never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. If you do not intend to shoot a particular subject, a particular target, a threat, whatever you may deem it as to be at that particular time, never point your weapon at that until you're ready to shoot. Okay? Keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Notice my finger has been straight and off the trigger for this video. Okay? Keep your finger straight and off the trigger till you're ready to fire. Okay? Now the next one particularly pertains to an M16. Okay, I'm about to tell how old I am. I was issued a M16A2 service rifle. Yeah, kind of old. But anyways, on a serious note though, keep your weapon unsafe until you intend to fire. Treat, never, keep, keep. Treat your weapon as if it was loaded. Never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Keep the weapon on safe until you intend to fire. As I mentioned, Glocks do not have a manual safety. Okay. However, that's probably why a lot of local gun ranges and rules and regulations may differ. But those are the 4 weapon safety rules that I was taught. And like I mentioned, other gun ranges here in the civilian world, or you may be a law enforcement officer, your department or your organization or whatever entity that you're with or visiting at that particular time, they're going to have their own weapon safety rules. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having different weapon safety rules. That's even better. Okay. But what I'm trying to convey to all of you is practice weapons safety. All right. With that being said, stay motivated. See y'all next time.